Hello, Accelerated Math 7-8 students. We are going to begin Module 10, Lesson 5. And Module 10, Lesson 5 is called Finding 100% Given Another Percent. So basically you have the percent, but it doesn't equal 100%, and we're trying to figure out what number represents the whole. So you have the part or the quantity, and you're trying to represent the whole. We find that on page 54 of the comp book. So I'm going to turn there now. So we have finding 100% given another percent. Our goal for today is, today we will find the whole when given the quantity. Question? What method can be used to find a missing part? This is not the first time we've worked with this. You guys have actually seen this several times. And what you have seen it as is there a variable in the equation that you are supposed to try to determine? And that's exactly what all of this is about. So don't let this overwhelm you. You actually do know how to do this. So, for example, we're going to try one out right off the gate to see if we can figure it out. So it says, a tank that is 40% full contains 648 gallons of water. What is the maximum capacity of the tank? So your job is to picture. Now you don't have to draw a picture, but you know me, I'm a visual learner, so it's really helpful for me to draw a picture. So let's say that this is the tank that we're trying to fill, okay? And I know just from my own knowledge of what a percent is, 50% is halfway, but it's not halfway, it's 40%. So we're going to go a little bit under halfway, and we're going to say that this is how much water. If it's a tank that holds water, that's how much water it is. So this would be 40%. In that amount right there, it says that it holds 648 gallons. Okay? So what we need to do is we have to figure out what would be the whole tank. So I like to go back to my handy dandy double number line. Okay, some of you like it, some of you don't. Percent for me is on the top. Quantity for me is on the bottom. And I know that this is 0%. This is 0 gallons because we're talking about gallons right now. And we know that 40%. So I'm going to cut it into 20s so that I have that. And then here would be 100%. And the only reason that I chose 20s is because 40 comes from, you can have a multiple, 40 is a multiple of 20. So that's why I did it by 20s, because that's very easy to find it. Okay, so we'll go ahead and fill that in. And we know that 40% equals 648 gallons. So our job is to see what the hundredth would be. Okay, so we have the double number line. If you want to use the formula that we've been using, we have quantity equals percent times the whole. Okay, the unknown value is the whole, but we do have some information of what we do know. We know that the percent is 40%. We do not know the whole, so we're going to leave that as our variable. And we do know the quantity, and the quantity is 648 gallons. So if you fill that in, that's what it would look like. All right? So you can do either way. You can use the double number line model, which to me is very simple, or you can do the algebraic way. Remember, this is arithmetic because it's a visual model. This is algebraic because it's incorporating variables, and you can solve it. So to get to 20, you divide by 2. So I'm going to take 648 and divide by 2, and I get 324. Okay. Once I know what 20% is, then I very easily can multiply both sides by 5 to get to 100. So 324 times 5, that would be 20. Regroup the 2. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 2 is 12. Regroup the 1. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16. And so I'm seeing, according to the double number line, that it would be a 1,620 gallon tank. So now what I can do is I can check that with the BU chart to make sure that I got it right. So I know that my variable is W. I multiplied it, oops, let me scoot that over a little bit, sorry. I multiplied that by 40 hundredths. So in order to undo it, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, which would be 140ths, and I should get W. So I'm going to multiply this by 140ths. When I multiply that by 140ths, I'm ending up with 1. 1 times W equals W, so I have W on this side. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other, so I'm going to multiply this by 140ths, which is not lovely, but 648 times 100 would be 64,840ths, right? So now I'm going to simplify that, and I'm going to go 6480 divided by 4. That can go in there once with 2. That can go in there 6. That can go in there 2. And that can go in 0. So I got 1,620. This 1,620 matches this 1,620. And so I find that 1,620 is the total gallons that fit in the tank. Okay? So basically, that's what we have. Let's look through the steps really quickly that I have written here in the notes. Please write these steps down, even though we already solved it. I do need you to have them written down so that you have a space that helps remind you. So first, you need to identify the parts of the word problem, which is what we did. What would be the quantity? 648. What would be the percent? 40%. What would be the whole? We don't know, so we use W. The second step is make a modified double number line. So that's what we have in the picture. There's the actual number line with the percentages on the top. The modified double number line means that you incorporate the tape diagram to represent it. And so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it would be 5 sections in your tape. We know that we have 2 sections of the tape covered. So you're going to take that and figure out what goes in each tape, and that's another method of figuring it out. Okay? And then you determine the best way to find the whole. So I actually showed you 3 different ways to solve this problem. These steps are not different ways. These are the steps that I want you to keep in mind when you're doing this to help you organize your information so you don't get lost. But you could do this. You could do the tape with the double number line like I did. You can do the formula, which is also the equation. All of them are going to give you the same answers, okay? You're probably sitting there thinking, why is she showing me so many different ways? I'm showing you so many different ways because everybody learns differently and everybody sees things from a different angle, and I just want to give you all the possibilities that you might need. Okay, so there's one more problem that I'm not going to help you with, but you need to do on your own, and we will check it in class in the morning or afternoon when I see you. Here's another. Loretta bought 420 apples that she picked. Brought, sorry. Her grandfather said that was only 35% of the total. What is the total number of apples? Okay, so Loretta picked 420 apples and brought them to her grandpa. Her grandpa said that was only 35% of the total. So your job is to come up with the total number of apples. Okay, use the steps that we listed up above and see what you can do. And we'll talk about the answer tomorrow. Going back to our goal, today we will find the whole when given the quantity. So I gave you some steps in being successful with that. We practiced one together and you have one to try on your own, so hopefully that will go smoothly. What method can be used to find the missing part? Okay, I showed you many different methods. You can use the tape diagram method, you can use the formula method, you can use the double number line method, whichever method would help you out the best. All right? Okay, my dears, that's it. Hopefully this is a good one, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.